Are you insane? Really, are you insane? That's what they seem to be asking. Hey everyone, this is Christophe Clugston. Welcome to this channel. I'm the guy who has no punches pulled talking about dog training. I've been doing it for half a century. I was a former #1 world rated, #1 contender kickboxing. I've done everything: boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, shoot boxing. 75 fights on 3 continents. Recently, there was a conversation between Robert Cabral and Bellon. If you don't know who they are, Robert Cabral has a pretty big YouTube presence and has online training. He was well known in his niche out in LA area. He helped a lot of shelter dogs. That I got to give him respect for. I don't know him. I've never met him. I don't know if we get along. Just speaking truthfully here. And Bart Bellon actually started training dogs the same time I did. We come from 2 vastly different backgrounds to begin with. He was a bite sport guy to begin with, and then has become basically a e-collar guru and has influenced a lot of people. He's from Belgium. He was in Africa for quite a while, if I remember correctly. Anyway, he started out with bite sport dogs. I started out with hunting dogs and sport obedience dogs. And my mentors, if you haven't heard it before, I've got to cover this because a lot of people don't know about me, were 2 very famous movie and TV dog trainers. So I have a hugely different background than anybody else on YouTube, and I know a lot about canines. Basically, more than anyone else I've seen on YouTube. And we're going to delve into their conversation and why they're basically were saying, are you insane? And that is because of people like Zak George. As this all goes to, everyone wants to control the pet dog, especially the pet dog training space, because there's a lot of money in the pet dog. Now, like I've said before, when I started training dogs, there wasn't this massive pet dog industry, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't go into that on this video. But when I started, there was hobby people, more purists. There were, of course, functional people that would be sled dog people, hunting dogs of all sorts, and military and police dogs. And the third category that was there were movie TV guys, which stem from, in the back, if you go way back, from circus dog trainers, had a lot of influence on those very early film guys. Anyway, a lot of the people talking nobody has the variety of dog training that I do. Bart does not have it. He's never trained sled dogs. I don't think he trained any hunting dogs. I don't think he's done any film work that I know of. Might have, but he's really known for the bite work, and he's stuck with certain types of working dogs, as they're called. A lot of these guys are Malinois people. Now, Robert Cabral has trained different dogs, but one of the things I got to put this out there because it just separates me, and it makes a big deal. He's never trained sled dogs. I don't think he trained hunting dogs. He hasn't. I'm only one is probably trained on 3 continents, lived on 3 continents, and trained dogs for a variety of different things, like I'm saying, from the Arctic to the jungle. Now, that gives me a totally different perspective on all of this than what they are talking about, basically. But what they're saying, and what Zak George wants, and other people like Gene Donaldson, they want a control of the space of pet dog training because there's money in it. This, like I said, there's reasons why this happened, but it basically started happening in the 90s, the mid-90s especially. Became this huge thing, and that's why you see all these people in the pet dog business that had no interest in any other type of dog training and don't know how to train other dogs, and only know how to train very artificially bred and neutered. Was one of the things you always hear them, sterilize, however you want to put it, spayed or neutered dogs, because they can try to control them by reducing their hormones. Those aren't dog trainers in my book, because if you cannot train a variety of dogs, that's the thing about movie dog trainers and TV dog trainers. You have to be able to train a variety of dogs. You got to know a whole lot of methods, not just one, not just hung up on an ideology of that's what everyone's promoting here, and that's why they're saying, are you insane? Because the ideology of Zak George and stuff, where they want to limit everything, they want to get rid of e-collars and a bunch of other tools is not going to change people in the sport, because, or in the military, and they're trying to make exceptions. They say, well, if you're training military dogs, then you can use e-collars, or you could use pinch collars, that sort of thing. Now, it's not, again, it's not about the tool, it's about the idiot trying to use the tool. And they want to control the space. Everyone wants to control the space to say there's some sort of licensure. Now, Robert Cabral is saying he doesn't believe licensure will work because there will be a big play for what they consider to be correct. And Ivan, the Bulgarian, has talked about this quite a bit too. And everybody, and Bart saying yes, but we want people to be licensed to say that they can be a dog trainer, and that means that they're going to have to know all 4 quadrants. He's talking about operant conditioning. Now, I have a degree in behaviorism. I trained cats and rats to do very complex things. Probably no one else on YouTube who's a dog trainer, has ever done what I've done. And let's skip the dolphin people. Let's skip Moore Park, which I got accepted to in 1987. I got to say that over and over because what's his face? Canines are vastly different. They're different than felines. Incredibly different than felines. Is there a basic way of learning? Yes, that goes to learning theory, and Skinner is correct, and Pavlov, and a lot of things are respondent conditioning. I'm not trying to get into these in real detail, but what I want to say is that bring that up because it's important to know that I have profound knowledge here. An expert talking about what they're talking about. So yes, there are people trying to control the licensing thing. Bart and his wife want to be involved in it because they see a lot of money, and that's why they're expanding to an online school, because that's where they see money involved in this, and it's more about that than anything else. Let's just be real. And Robert does not believe that the licensing is going to create people who know what they're doing, and he also thinks it's going to be very political. I think Bart thinks that too. Everybody thinks that, who knows anything. Ivan thinks that. Of course, these people are all running schools. Now, Bart runs a school, the Bulgarian runs a school, but those schools won't get you a job. I've said it many times, there's only a couple of places where you're going to go to a school and learn real skills that are for basically working dogs, and people will hire you because you have real skills that you had to prove. So with pet dogs, you don't have to prove anything. You just have to have more about manners and stuff. And there are a lot of people who are in that space. Now, what is insanity is that, yes, there are people like Zak George and Gene Donaldson who want to control and basically say, you must do things this way, and you must be completely force-free, and force-free comes from their ideology. It doesn't come from reality. As everybody's promoting their ideology here, I come from results. You must produce results. If you're doing film work, or if you're really doing tactical work, you have to be able to produce results, and you have to do it with dogs that they say can't be done. Because if you're really doing military working dogs or even hunting dogs, you can wash them out, you can kick them out, you can get rid of them. People say that dog's no good because the method they're using doesn't work with that dog for that event. And yes, some dogs don't have it in them to be Iditarod or a Yukon Quest dog, or they don't have it in them to be a real war dog, which difference between a military working dog and a war dog. I won't go into it, but there's vast differences in those two things. Not every dog can do that. Not every dog can be a tracking dog, especially across hard surfaces. I bring that up because the pet dog people have never trained any of these dogs. They can't do it. They don't have the ability, even trick training for them. And by the way, I got to bring it up because I have put it out there as a challenge. Let's see someone else train a American bulldog. Mine is autistic and weighs over 100 pounds. How to limp. Let's see it. I put it out there. All you trick people who are using border collies and Australian shepherds, German shepherds, easy, or golden retrievers, easy to train dogs. Let's see you do it with the hard dogs. You know, that's something I put out there. I got to get back on the track here, though. So what am I saying here? What they're saying is, are you insane? Is because, are you insane? Because this overall idea of we're going to create a licensing committee, it's going to be by these people like Zak George trying to force other people because they want to control people. You know, again, I have a whole video about Zak George and the dogs he cannot handle. Everybody wants to lower the standard, say, well, that's not the, means he can't train, means he doesn't have the skill I have. Meaning, if you're going to go to a doctor, well, this witch doctor has never done surgery, but he doesn't need to because I don't need a surgeon. And yeah, well, the surgeon has more skill than the witch doctor ever will have. The point here is that I've got to agree with them on the point that I don't think licensing is going to work. I know they're trying, everybody wants to get into that pie, you know, they want a section of it because they see money if they can get involved in actually being part of the licensing. I come from a different time period. Like I said, you know, Bart and I started training in the same year, but I come from a different background than he does. I think I have a bigger variety of dogs. I've done more different dog events than he has. And so I say that, I know that I'm more than Robert, definitely more than Zach begin to compete, and all these other people on YouTube. So that's why I said there's no punches pulled here, because I don't care about the ideology, I don't care about who I fancy. Robert saying things that I do not agree with, and one of them is when he's saying, well, we shouldn't be denigrating other trainers. Yeah, if they are horrible, yes, that's what consumer advocates do. That's what people who are control of medical licensing do. If that doctor cannot perform accurately, they should be called out on it. And if they can't, you know, sustain the analysis and the critique, then they should get out. Get out. So I don't agree with you, Robert, on that. I mean, there's a bunch of other things we probably do not agree on. There's some other things we do probably agree on, like his helping dogs. That's what it should be about. So many of the people are just trying to make money, and they don't want to really actually help dogs. And that leads me to, you know, Bart, like a difference is I have a lot more dogs than these guys do, a variety of dogs. I've got Arctic dogs, I have a jungle dog. Now, none of these guys have experience with non-artificially bred dogs. I do. It's totally different. I love those dogs. I love those Southeast Asian pariah village jungle dogs. There are some incredible dogs. There exist around the world. Look at Dr. Ray Copinger's work. I'm giving you people clues. I'm giving you free information here, how to get more into canines. Anyway, so what was solved in their talk? Nothing. And they felt that they need another talk to go further into it. Now, vested interest in making money. I'm more about the truth first, about the results, than I am about making money. So I just want to say, are you insane? Do you agree with Robert? Do you agree with Bart? Or what do you think? Or do you agree with Zach, the hack George, and Gene Donaldson? Do you think that the forestry people should be in control of who gets a licensing? Do you think Bart Bellon should be the person who hands out licenses? You know, put those comments in here, and also like, share, okay? Because I'm getting more people looking at me because I'm doing things other people can't do, and I don't pull any punches, and I'm not slapping each other's back and trying to form a posse of people of an echo chamber, which a lot of people are doing. And comment here, all right? And check out my other videos. There's a lot of things on here. You see a lot of things. Oh, and Robert, by the way, if you happen to watch this, the 3-dog challenge to you, buddy. Let's see you take the 3-dog challenge. The rules and everything are in videos on my channel. Not very difficult to find, all right? Let's see if you'll take it, okay?